Hi, I'm Sug.
And I'm Dan.
And this is the Demystified Zone. More refreshing than pakasti. Hey, what's up, Dan?
Hey.
Guess what day it is today?
It is Spoil Your Dog Day. It actually is. Spoil Your Dog Day. My kids told me about that.
Wait,
morning.
for real?
Yeah, it is.
Today is Spoil Your Dog Day.
Yeah. According to the internet.
Okay. Do you have you guys have a dog?
We got a dog.
Oh my
summer.
gosh.
Yeah.
This is great news. We need to share this kind of news. Tell us about dog.
She is her name's Luna.
Luna. Wonderful.
And she is a yellow lab puppy.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big dog.
Yeah, we wanted a big dog. I'm not. I don't like these small, like little yappy dogs.
Yeah, but big dog, big poop.
That's true, and it's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting bigger and bigger every day.
Is Luna going to school?
Yeah, she's
School of Hard Knocks at Dan Chung School.
No, she's going to a school that will train her to retrieve game birds.
Oh,
Yeah.
Real school. This is like real dog school.
Real dog school, yeah.
Well, not real, but next level.
I guess so. Yeah.
Hunting dog school.
Yeah, I guess so. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool to see the other dogs.
What other things are you going to have Luna retrieve for you, though? Like the remote, like snacks from
Beer.
the fridge? Yeah. Make sure that she gets those things, too. Not just the dead duck or whatever you shot out of the air.
Yeah.
Right? Close the door, Luna. Tell the kids to go to bed. Are you working on those skills?
Yeah. Can you bathe Andy tonight?
Does Andy need help bathing
No,
still? What in the world?
Can you help him pick out an outfit today? Yeah. It's more
Okay.
like it.
Luna.
Luna.
Aww. Luna is our official Demystified Zone dog.
Yeah. Mascot.
Does Jay have a dog? I forget. Jay's not with us today, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah. Jay has a couple of dogs. Yeah.
He does?
Yeah.
Okay. Couple.
Yeah.
All right. We need to do a dog day here. I don't have any dogs. I'm forever uncle to all humans and animals.
Why? Yeah. Why don't you have a
Freedom.
Do you not like
freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
that is
true.
why. For
Yeah.
freedom. I live for freedom.
Well, for the people who are already enslaved
By the dogs.
by our kids,
Oh,
what's
okay.
another? Yeah.
That's
thing?
true.
Yeah.
It's like another, it's actually a nicer version of human in some cases if it's a good dog.
Yeah.
You know what? Some of the nephew dogs I sometimes love more and I'm more excited to see them than the children themselves. Because they're just, they're so sweet and they're so
Yeah.
cute and they don't talk back
They
and
don't
they're
talk-
like
right.
not annoying. Well, they can be annoying sometimes, but just depends on whose dog it is.
Yeah, I thought I would be in love with this dog.
It goes
I'm
away.
not. No,
It goes away quickly. And that's what I lived. Did you grow up with a dog?
Yeah.
And you didn't
A
know this
couple.
already? That you would get tired of it right away? That's the thing I always tell people. I'm like, you're going to get tired. Unless you're there are some true dog lovers that every
Yeah.
day they wake up, they're so excited to see their dog. I love dogs. I'm just not one of those people that I need to see one every single day of my life.
I didn't have expectations for that. I really wanted a dog that can work and do things. I'm not like this hunter guy.
That
or
sounds like
whatever.
a lot of expectations for a dog.
I'm not like this hunter guy who would just be into this, but I did want a dog to serve a purpose, and this seemed pretty cool. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Luna.
Yeah.
Good luck in that household.
Yeah.
You have a lot of attention to fight for.
Oh yeah.
Fight others with.
One moment was really telling. I put her, in her little cage for the night. And I was like, "Good night, Luna. I love you." And then I went away.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. That's really cute.
And then I started walking up the stairs. I'm like, "Wait a minute, I don't love her." So I came back down. I was like, "Actually, I don't love you." And then I walked back.
You
up the
said that? Why you gotta say that to the dog?
I just want to be honest.
You can love her. Why don't you love her?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Really?
I love my nephew dogs. I don't know if I say I love you, but I show a lot of affection to them.
I don't love her. No, I like her.
Okay. Interesting. What's going on in that cold empty chest of yours over there. A lot of standards for what you give out love for.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that wasn't the day I was looking for when I started off this whole thing. And actually, it's not today. So it was a trick question to begin with. So you did a great job by bringing in this national spoil dog. You should spoil Luna because you did that terrible thing to her by not telling her, by taking back your love for her. That's terrible. Go tell you love her.
Fine.
Last week was actually, it's now been like 10 days ago. Happy Armistice Agreement Day. I added happy. It's really Armistice Agreement Day, but we're calling it Happy Day. Did you know this? July 27th was the Armistice Agreement Day. Yay!
Wow.
You like that?
You're really getting into
those buttons. On July 27th, 1953, the armistice was signed, formally ending the Korean War. North and South remain separate, but can no longer fight or have agreed that they will no longer have war conflict anymore.
Well, they got to do it a little bit.
Sure. There were some lines drawn. That was it.
Yeah.
But a big day.
Yes. A huge day.
July 27th, y'all. Now, in American history, obviously we respect and honor the lives that were given during the Korean War, especially us Korean Americans, because if it weren't for the American involvement in that war, there's a lot of chance that maybe some of us wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
So we're super thankful for our veterans who participated and served. Our president this year declared July 27th as National Korean War Armistice Day. That was enacted this year, July 26th, if you did not know. So our current president did that just this last month.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that. And again, thank you to all the veterans and people who served. Now that we discussed that, the Koreas, and I say the us because there are two, because of this Armistice Agreement Day, have very different takes about what this day means to them, which is very telling about the relationship and ours as well. But that's what we're going to talk about today, the Armistice Agreement Day. And is it happy? I said happy, but it's not happy for everybody. Let's just say that. Or it's not happy in the same way we think it should be happy for everybody.
It's like a movie that ends. It's like not a great ending. It's not a good ending and it's not a bad ending, right? It's not a happy or sad ending. It's just like this very mixed emotions.
Bad ending then. I would call that a bad ending.
Really?
Yeah. Like
a non-happy ending.
Well, no. Not that it's not happy. It's like, not that there needs to be closure. It just, there is no ending. There was no ending. It's an ending with no ending.
Yes.
That's what it is.
That's a good way to put it.
Which makes it a bad ending, in my opinion. Unless there's going to be a sequel.
Oh, I hope not.
But yeah, we don't want that. We're not looking for a sequel here. Let's just go over real quick. What was the Armistice Agreement? What was it all about? You want to go after this? Or you want me to do it?
Can you? Yeah, I don't have it pulled up.
You don't have anything? I thought this was all in the depths of your mind. What are you talking about? Isn't this your thing?
Apparently not.
Don't you know the Korean War like your children? Aren't you fighting that war every day at home in your mind?
Yeah. Just move on. Just drop it.
I hit a sensitive spot. All right, 3-year conflict in the end of the 40s, 1950.
Yeah.
So this armistice was officially signed and ended the war on July 27, 1950 at 10 a.m. in Panmunjom. So it involved U.S. Army Lieutenant General William K. Harrison Jr., Senior Delegate, United Nations Command Delegation, and North Korean General Nam Il, Senior Delegation of the Korean People's Army, and the Chinese People's Volunteers signed 18 official copies of the tri-language Korean Armistice Agreement. It was the end of the longest negotiated armistice in history. Guess how many meetings, don't look at my screen, guess how many meetings it took for this armistice to be agreed upon. I'll give you over, under, just over and pick a number. Is it over 100 or under 100?
Over.
That was a bad number. Well over. It was 158 meetings.
Really?
Spread over 2 years and 17 days. That's how
Meanwhile,
long it took.
the war.
The war,
kept
exactly.
on raging on. Yeah.
The war
People were dying.
was 3 years long. So this was 2/3 of the war was just them trying to end the war.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is really, I mean, when you think about that, that's intense.
It's tragic.
Yeah. So this armistice, that evening at 10 p.m., the truce went into effect. The Korean Armistice Agreement is somewhat exceptional in that it is purely a military document. No nation is a signatory to the agreement. Isn't that crazy?
Wait.
No nation agreed to it. It's just a military document saying we're not going to fire anymore.
So it was between the two countries'
Armies, yes.
Yeah.
North and South armies. So
Really?
the countries involved, China, U.S., Russia wasn't even involved in this.
Uh-huh.
North Korea, South Korea weren't even
Wow.
signing this thing. Most awkward agreement ever. That's what I call that. It's like, hey, let's write this. Let's spend 2 years coming.
Yeah.
Who's ready to sign? No, everyone walks out or looks away let's bring in the generals. Let's have them sign.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is specifically the Armistice Agreement did the following, and I'm generalizing here, but this is what it did. This is the outline. 1, suspended open hostilities. So no more firing, no more fighting.
For the most part.
2, well, it ended all the intense fighting.
Yeah.
2, withdrew all military forces and equipment from a 4,000 meter wide zone, aka DMZ, and creating a buffer between the forces. 3, prevented both sides from entering the air, ground, or sea areas under control of the other. So no more coming on my base. I ain't coming to your base. The old tag rule, right? No infiltration yet. Time out. 4, arranged release and repatriation of prisoners of war and displaced persons. Very questionable if that's been followed. 5, established the Military Armistice Commission, or MAC, and other agencies to discuss any violations and to ensure adherence to the truce terms. So number 5, that's the first time I've heard of this whole MAC thing, Military Armistice Commission. Where are they today? Why are they not enforcing any of these violations? Because maybe they dissolve. We have to do a little deeper dive on that sometime. Because have you ever heard of them?
No, I haven't.
That's their job.
Are they the same guys just sitting somewhere?
I have no idea who they are.
Like the Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade, knight who was still in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Ghost Knight. I remember the Ghost Knight.
The old guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This MAC and other agencies apparently are supposed to be the referees here.
Yeah.
But especially on points number 1 and 4, suspended open hostilities, and 4, arranged release of prisoners.
Suspended open hostilities. Each of those words, it just depends on the interpretation of each of those words. On suspended, open,
I'm just saying,
and hostilities.
Yeah, a lot of flags should be thrown right now. There should be a lot of penalties being doled out. This is a very loose game of basketball. The rest are letting them play ball.
Right.
That's what's happening here.
Playoff basketball.
Yeah, this is you just go at it. We're not going to influence the game right now.
Yeah.
So that was the. Well, here's a really good point. The armistice, while it stopped hostilities, was not a permanent peace treaty between the nations.
Yeah.
That is very clear.
Very, very clear.
There's no peace right now between the two. In fact, there's not even an agreed definition of what is the relationship between us right now. One thinks they're part of the other countries and they're traitors and defectors.
Yeah.
And the other thinks they're just sworn enemies for the rest of their lives,
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, this just shows how stubborn Korean people are. Never back down and never give up. No, honestly, right? Isn't it so Korean?
70 years of standoff.
Yeah.
I'm not moving until you move. I'm not apologizing until you apologize.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there is a faction of Korean people who think that they should sign a peace agreement.
Mm-hmm.
They should sign a treaty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Effectively ending the war. It's very controversial. It's very, because the other side then would say, well, if that happens, then the U.S. would leave, and North Korea would attack again, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's it's one of those things where it's like, yes, for sure, this is a bullheaded Korean thing, but time has not helped here. If we had ripped the Band-Aid off in 1955, 1956, a few years
You mean by signing
after,
actual treaty?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Things would be different.
Oh yeah.
Or there was a higher chance to get over the bullheadedness of things. Though some might say not, because of Kim Il-sung and how bullheaded that dude was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and not for nothing, the South Korean president as well.
Yeah.
They were just very at odds with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
both military.
Yes, military-based
guys.
Authoritarian. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe this was just destined. This is our destiny as Koreans to forever be fighting with ourselves. Which sounds ridiculous when I say that out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Only nation in the entire world that has been fighting themselves in a civil war for 70 plus years.
Is it true? Is it like North? Yeah. Even the Vietnamese, there was North and South, but the North won.
We can talk a lot of countries. Germany, East, West.
Yeah.
Vietnam. We can talk. When you get into the Middle East and you're talking about, it's more religious segregation. And not so much geographical, but it's lined up that way sometimes. I guess you could kind of argue Palestine but those are two different nations, really, and cultures.
Pakistan and India,
but also two different nations, though. Like, I guess so. They weren't one before.
They were one country.
Okay, this is my ignorance coming out there. Okay, but then they've made a peaceful resolution to be separate nations.
Yeah,
so they're not warring with each other anymore.
Tensions are higher, but it's not nowhere near the tensions of the Koreans. Yeah.
What's wrong with us? I'm just trying to.
That
was my point. That was my build up.
What's wrong with us? Oh boy!
Why can't we just get along? Why can't we just apologize? What's wrong with us? Just what's that Korean? Is it mansa? What's that? The apologize? Am I using the wrong word? I'm making an idiot of myself. Go apologize to your older brother. Make right. What's that word?
Oh shoot. I forgot.
Where's Jay when we need him?
죄송합니다.
Yeah, just apologize.
미안해. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
I probably just made myself. People are screaming at me right now. Like, what the hell is that? Okay, well, it's been going on for today. Just past July 27th was the Armistice Agreement Day. Again, a happy day for us Americans because the war ended, and one of our successful wars, I could say, in terms of like we did what we came to do, which was make sure North Korea didn't invade South, and stemmed off further conflict. The war ended relatively quickly. It was 3 years long. Now it's always rife with political things, as every war is.
Yeah, but
it is something that, at least as Korean Americans, we're a little more proud of that America got involved and happy that they did. Because if they hadn't, it'd be a different story.
I was on vacation in Arkansas earlier this summer, and I saw this very old man with a Korean War veteran hat on, and I thanked him.
Yeah,
and I think he was like deaf or something. He couldn't hear me, but his friend, who's like someone part of an organization that helps veterans, was like, yeah, he's part of the Korean War, blah, blah, blah.
They're in their 70s. If they're in their, in their 80s.
80s,
yeah. They're in the 90s, really, if they just enlisted. Yeah. If they were 18 at the time.
Right.
Definitely in their 80s.
That generation is
now, yeah. And, here, and we always like to tell a story. I remember one of my many Korean uncles, who wasn't really my uncle, telling me a story that when he's in the airport and he sees, back in like the 80s or 90s,
Yeah.
when he saw around like a Veterans Day or something like that, and he saw a Korean War veteran, he would go over there and he like insa to them, meaning like he would do the 90-degree bow, and then he would thank them so much, and then they would like. He was also in the Korean military, as every young Korean man was at the time, you know, in our parents' generation. But he would just be super thankful for any American-looking Korean War vet that he saw. And a lot of fun, you know.
I think that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun stories about that, you
Yeah.
know, and like how, honestly, I think, again, I think this is me, but many of us second-generation Korean Americans might feel uncomfortable around war veterans and just in general white Americans because of the racism we faced and a lot of animosity. Honestly, we're going to go back to movie references. Bruce Lee, the Dragon the Bruce Lee story. There's an iconic scene.
Yes.
Jason Scott Lee, my hero, gets assaulted in the workout gym.
Yeah.
And the guy says, What's going on, man? I'm not going to use the slurs here. It's like, come on, man. What are you doing? You know, I'm happy. Your people killed my father in Korea.
Yeah.
And then Jason Scott Lee's got that iconic line after he beats them up and goes, "Sorry, that was Koreans. I'm American." So good. Anyway, I digress. I'm just living my favorite movie. Anyway, but because we had the animosity towards people in our generation were like that more. It was nice to see that and like a mutual respect for Koreans and Americans alike during that conflict.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Korean War veterans because it was truly the forgotten war, right? That's what they call it in America. That's like a nickname for that war.
Yeah.
Is the Forgotten War. And I love the Korean War Memorial in DC.
Yes, I've been there. That one's
gosh.
beautiful. I really love that one.
Because you could really see the confusion in their faces as to why they're there. That is sort of like the story of that war, right? It would like they weren't clear. The objectives weren't exactly laid out for them. And that is sort of how the war has settled into the annals of history, American history, right? And
not to downplay this, I do think that there was a lesson learned from Vietnam, which is the major war preceding this one. I'm sorry, this was preceding that war, right? Like that, the Korean War was before Vietnam, and it was in Asia. U.S. involvement, and for political reasons too, right? Because we were at odds with Russia.
It's very similar conflict.
Yes, but that, and again, North and South.
Yeah,
you know, splitting of the country, democracy versus communism.
Yeah,
but for whatever reason, maybe it's because of our leadership that the way we handled the Korean War
was different.
Was just different.
Yeah,
yes, it was different. And as Koreans, people who are from the country, it was appreciated. Like it was like a thank you, for helping us. Thank you for standing by us, kind of thing.
Yes.
Whereas with Vietnam, it was way more muddy and not so clean.
Or, it's not so clean.
I'm not gonna get into war history because I'm not very good at it.
Yeah.
But so yes, again, so if we answer, thank you to all our veterans and
thank you to
armed service veterans out there. Jay, he's not here, but thank you, Jay. You get the day off today. You deserve it. We act like we gave you the day off. So again, 10 days ago, we signed this armistice document. Now, North Korea, South Korea, very different views of this day.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with either of you? Well, let's start with South Korea. You probably know this a little better. South Korea, how are they looking at today?
Is in the spectrum of happy and sad, I'd say towards the middle, but a little more happy, right?
I think it's actually sad.
Really?
Like
that would be my guess.
Like in somber remembrance. Like again, they were invaded. North Korea struck first.
Yes.
First blood. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. That was stupid. South Korea, I think, looks at today as a day of remembrance. Yes, they're glad it kind of ended, but it didn't end things for them, really. Things are still going on.
I see.
It started this, if anything, it was the start of this whole long, arduous relationship they've had. So I think it's more somber, and it's remembrance of the lives lost. And maybe, I don't want to say bitterness. I can't speculate that far. But it's sad because they're like, we were once one. Yeah. And then you did this. You decided to do this.
Why did you have to do this? Yeah. And even before the war, they were still able to go back and forth from North Korea. There was some relationship between the two countries.
Yeah. And it's almost, I would look at it like kind of, again, it's country on country, like the same country. It's somber and sad because we lost so many lives. Both sides lost so many lives. Yeah. For what? Why? Why? We're fighting amongst ourselves. We're killing ourselves.
Yeah. And there was no ground gain by either side.
Yes. So I think that's why South Korea feels like, oh my God, why did we do that? Why did this happen?
Yeah.
We've attacked. It's not like, when Japan invaded, a foreigner country invaded us. It was ourselves attacking ourselves, and both of us lost in the end. I think that's the general move. Let's mourn those who gave their lives. And it's kind of sad. What are you celebrating for those lives lost right now? Right? That we're two separate nations now. And, I think that's my interpretation of the things I've been reading, these headlines.
Not to go too deep into it, but that sort of mood does color a lot of Korean art too, right? The movies especially. It's very ambivalent at the end, right? It's not a good ending at the end of these movies, right? It's always you
need to be more specific. Give us something to grab onto here.
Squid Game, right?
Okay.
Right. He won, the protagonist won the whole thing, but
he lost his best friend.
He lost everything. Yeah. He lost so many things because of it.
Yeah.
And at the end, he wants to get revenge, which is, right?
Yeah.
Very Korean as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you just hold on.
There's no rest. There's no one's ever resting.
Right. I won.
There's always conflict.
My fist is still clenched.
Yes.
And I still want to finish this.
Yeah. There's more punches to be had.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes. I can. Yeah. I jive with that.
Yeah. And
but switching gears here, let's talk about how North Korea looks at this day.
Yeah, let's see.
So in this article, I don't know. Some of these article titles I take with a little grain of salt. I don't know if that's really fair. But this Radio Free Asia article titles this, North Koreans forced to celebrate 70th anniversary of victory in Korean War. So the Korean government is spinning the Armistice Day as a victory.
Yeah.
Tell us why they might think they won something from this.
Okay, so I think North Korea has this perception, or they spin the tale that okay, so they invaded the South, even though they say the South invaded them first, right? And then they did fight the South Korean army all the way down to Busan at the southern end of the peninsula. Then the U.S. got involved. They pushed the forces all the way almost north. And then at the end, Chinese forces got involved. And that's where the war ended, in the middle, because it was basically China versus the U.S., right? And it was, they weren't getting, no one was getting anywhere, right? So, but North Korea's tale is that China barely got involved. We pushed the mighty American army back on our own.
Yeah.
That's why
they
it's
forgot.
a happy day. That's why it's a happy day.
They couldn't recognize who was Samchun and who was the Chungguk Samchun. Chinese uncle versus my uncle.
Yeah, maybe there were like 10 Chinese soldiers.
Yeah, they were there somewhere. They were. Who could have known? They were all mixed in together.
Kim Il-sung basically did it himself.
Yeah.
Basically.
He used his God-man powers and pushed everyone back.
Yeah.
That's so sad, and it's crazy
Yeah.
that that's a victory too. That in the end, to remain where you are now, not have gained any ground at all,
Right.
is your victory. But
Because
it is what it is.
if South Korea invaded first, then they could just say we fought everyone off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you threw the first punch, then you got backed into a corner,
Yeah,
and then your big brother came and saved you, and then
Right.
you're like,
And we just
see,
kicked you out.
see what I did there? See what I did? So obviously, with anything North Korea, when they claim a victory day, they're gonna have a celebration.
How do they celebrate?
Clearly, the best way they know how is a big parade, military parade. Yay! So, North Korea had been planning and doing rehearsals for this big military hardware parade. That's how they like to describe them, I guess. Just a showcase of all the stuff. There's a YouTube video. We'll put it in the link from Radio Free Asia again of the coverage of this event. And we're just going to, it's really short actually. I'm just going to play this. Let's see if we got sound. Yes. The announcer. Okay. We got tons of people there. We got like drones right now rolling across. Big drones on huge trucks. Look at that marching band. Oh, look at those people cheering.
The backlight is awesome too.
Yes. It's at night. Okay, there goes
Kim Jong-un,
Marshall.
Yeah, waving.
Okay, it says Marshall is joined with Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, and Chinese ruling party official Li Hongzhong.
And look at the Russian guy.
Is that the Russian guy? Yeah, that's the Russian guy.
He's closer to Kim Jong-un. I think
Look
that's
how many
very
more
important.
medals there are on the Korean guys next to the Russian. Oh my gosh, this guy looks like he's 90 years old, this North Korean general.
Uh-huh.
And he's got basically armor of medals on his chest, while the Russian guy's got like 3 pins.
I think the Chinese guy is right here. Right?
No, this is Chinese guy, isn't this? Because he's just a party official.
Okay, yeah.
This is Chinese guy right here to the right.
Interesting. Okay.
But you're okay. Sorry, you were saying though. What's interesting?
The
about
Russian guy is right next to Kim Jong Un, and the Chinese guy is kind of like set back a little bit.
They don't look happy to be there. Let's just say that. Well, KJU is having a great time. Look at this smile. Look at this right here. He looks.
Yeah.
He's gonna hype people up right here. Look at that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and they're doing the tens of thousands of spectators. The soldiers are all coming out with the insane
The high step in march.
high step in tune march. Again, best dance crew in the world.
Amen.
Right there. We got some
The
missiles
missiles.
coming out.
Yeah.
Large missiles that were recently demonstrated. Look at all the camera crews and stuff too.
Yeah.
They're really making. Okay, this is the thing that I gotta show. There's like a minute into this, 55 seconds. There's like all these commandos. It looks like best way. They're smiling so big, staring at the great
They
leader.
got headsets on for
Headsets. They look like they're playing like Modern Warfare right now.
Yeah.
And they're carrying this ridiculous guns. So yeah, I did some research on these guns. I really wish Jay was here today to talk about this, and he'll comment another time. But so this gun they're carrying, y'all gotta go see this gun. It just looks like, you ever watch the movie Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
Or like any of these like space age. This gun looks ridiculous. It looks like a bazooka on top of a machine gun on top of like a rifle. I don't know. It just looks so ridiculous. It's huge. I looked up this gun.
It looks awesome too.
It does look awesome. If you were, if I had that gun as a kid, it looked amazing. I looked at this gun. It's called the OICW.
Okay.
I forget it's like something, I don't know. It's just like a special gun that actually America started like funding for researching this gun. It was basically a personnel gun that could shoot like little mini grenades so that you could attack targets that were hiding behind something. So like the grenade, it's like a laser guided grenade. It would go over the barricade and explode over your head and like get people who are hiding.
Okay.
America canned this thing.
Yeah, because it never worked.
It was ridiculous. No, I think they got to work. It just like it didn't seem like it made sense. They had like a smaller version that was just a grenade shooter thing that was smarter versus like combining it with a machine gun and this other stuff, rifle. All to say, a lot of countries have since copied this thing and rolled it out. North Korea has leaned into this thing.
Yeah.
Like there are hundreds of these things in this video.
It looks cool.
It looks really threatening, but from what we understand of at least military war, and this is what we need Jay to comment on this, but we'll get his commentary in the next one. That this is a useless weapon in modern warfare. Like you don't really need to use this.
Yeah.
The drones are good enough.
in our text group, he was basically laughing,
but also very in awe of that. He wanted one.
Yeah.
He wanted one of those.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, are you a YouTube commenter? Do you look at the comments or reply?
No,
Sometimes it's fun though.
Sometimes
you should try it out sometimes.
Sometimes I comment
So,
if I like the video.
I don't comment ever. I just enjoy reading.
Okay.
I'm just a voyeur of laughing outside and
of
judging
humanity.
So there's a comment way down this long list of comments in this one video, and this guy at Feroci wrote, "American drones except camera can't pivot downward and the propeller is too small. AKs dressed up like the failed OICW concept. This is all just smoke and mirrors." So I don't know who this guy is, if he's got any there, but it's just an interesting comment.
It seems like Jay would also agree with.
I wonder if the propellers did look a little small on those on those drones. And I looked at other American drones, and the propeller is definitely bigger on our drones. And that one looked like a little, like those little submarine toys that you put in the bathtub.
It looks like one of those hats that little kids wear.
Yeah. The propeller beanie.
Propeller,
Yes.
Yeah, whatever that is.
So I don't know about the drones. I'm no expert, but the gun definitely caught my attention, and I went on this whole this gun looks ridiculous.
It's pretty.
It's
cool
so
looking.
ridiculous. It looks cool. It looks like what a kid would come up with. I want the
Right.
most amazing gun. Here's what I'm gonna put a shotgun on top of a grenade launcher, on top of a bazooka, with a machine gun. Right.
Yeah.
It looks like that kind of gun.
And a missile launcher. Yeah.
And apparently that guy is saying, Korea just made up their own version of this other gun.
I see.
But who knows? I digress again. I've been all over the place today, y'all. I'm sorry. North Korea clearly taking armistice state differently than us and the South Koreans.
Yeah. I mean, again, in their own narrative, they are the heroes. The way they write history is they were the victim and we got the bully out of there. That's basically it.
Again, I'm not surprised by that. What I'm a little surprised by, actually, and what do I know about geopolitics, I guess, is that Russia and China are there. And they're kind of supporting this narrative that they won.
Yeah, that's
and especially
true.
when
That's
China was against the U.S. during this war.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement to make. And I guess that's the way they only sent an official ruling party guy, a low-level dude. Right. So it doesn't make a big deal. But especially now, Russia in this war with Ukraine now for how many years we've been in, that's a statement to support North Korea in this lunacy of we won this war 70 years ago. Here are new weapons that we're going to start a new war with.
And it is important. It is important the story it's what happened is important, but what's even more important is the story that you tell afterwards, right? Of what happened.
Yeah.
Right? Again, like a divorce, right? It matters what happened, but then each side will have their own tale.
Yeah.
And that story influences their life, right?
In history. In this scale, it's history.
It's history.
World history. Mm-hmm. And if we don't protect the right or the truth of what happened, I'm not saying just our side of it, but the truth of what happened.
It's going to happen again.
It's going to happen again, or people remember the wrong thing. But again, China and Russia, what's going on? What are y'all doing?
That's true.
What are you doing?
They're in essence supporting the story.
What does North Korea give you aside from the instability? I guess they have a ton of resources.
North Korea has been providing munitions to Russia.
That's true.
Yeah. So there's some things that they get out of.
Everyone's just using everyone over there. Including, I guess you could argue, including ourselves.
Yeah.
But, you don't see us sending up Ted Cruz to I don't know why I picked Ted Cruz.
Oh, to South Korea.
To South Korea's parade.
Right.
Or not parade, memorial service, or
right.
I guess Governor Pritzker. That's more local here. I don't want to get all political on this podcast. It's not what we're about. But it's just interesting that that's the decision they took. But I guess if North Korea invites you to something, it's hard to say no to. You don't be like, I think I'll pass on this one. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
For face, you know?
Right.
That's why they sent a ruling party. Like, that dude looks like he's like 10 steps down from anything important.
Yeah. Looks pretty old. Yeah, it's really sad that they can't even agree on... It's really sad that they can't, number one, agree on what happened.
Yeah.
But number two, because they can't agree on what happened, then how could you move forward, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're speaking different languages.
Yeah. That's always going to be the core of this problem is you think this A happened, but this is B is what I think happened. So
right.
When are we ever going to come to terms with that?
It's really tragic. And because of this, BTS has to go to the military and break up.
We need to do a BTS parade. We need to speak their language, parades. Instead of missiles and stuff, we just put K-pop and like K-drama stars. Maybe we put them on top of the missiles. We combine all those things and we just say, hey, let's just combine all these things. So, we don't need to launch the missiles. We'll just dance on them. We'll take your music video idea, KJU, of walking next to missiles, and we're going to one-up it. We're going to make it next level, all Korea.
Like a BTS.
All Korean. Yeah. That's a great idea, Dan. I love that. Send it. Let's send it.
We will. We'll make it work.
If you like the show, please give us a like, download, share us on your favorite podcast store or your favorite Chinese smuggler.